Isn't it 1.6?
Sorry about the delay, folks. We had quiz last hour, and I just plain forgot.
It's all good.
Remember, open notes, open book, open all your resources except closed noise holes. Okay? I want to know what you know, not what your neighbor knows.
So
Yep.
I tried new method of homework. It's like talking as they do. Yeah. 10 minutes.
I've known kids, there's a actual accommodation for that who need the auditory processing. You have noise canceling headphones with the microphone, and the microphone is your own input, so you can talk quieter like this. But it amplifies it and you hear yourself, so it doesn't disrupt other people, but you can still talk through everything. Yeah. I had a kid probably, I don't know, 10, 11 years ago who was doing that on my caseload. Pretty good. That's right. Get those poppity tarts. Game Club appreciates your business. Again, make sure that these are all labeled, because after you're done with your quiz today, you're going to turn in your homework, your daily quizzes, and your notes. Now, whether you keep that all in a notebook, just hand the whole notebook in, or a binder, folder. Some kids just hand the loose papers and their note packet together, throw a little binder clip on it, call it good. Whatever your method of organization is, I need to be able to find things quickly and efficiently so it doesn't take me 2 hours to go through your stuff. Looks like most of us are either there or finishing up the last one. Okay, looking like we're about there. No. No. You don't get to do... There we go. Round one. This is the back half of our absolute value inequalities. We did 2 days ago, it was mostly equations. We just barely touched on inequalities. Yesterday, we solidified it. How? Okay. Move the 19, add 19, and divide by 4 so that you isolate that absolute value. When you do, if I add 19, I'm at 24. Divide by 4, that's not a parenthesis. You get 6.
If you added 19, it has to be 14.
That would be 14.
What?
-5.
You said it'd be 24.
Oh, I went the wrong way. I wanted it to be a positive 5. Okay, that was my intention. Oops. Well, you just get a nasty fraction. Deal with it.
You get a brownie point?
Yes.
So,
All right. You say that like the alien Muppets.
Wait, what?
Wait, there's 4.
No, remember the...
did you see that?
I well, now you guys are all just like messing with me and there's too much going on. So... Better? Okay. Do you see why I wanted it to be a +5 now? So it would have been pretty. I wanted it to be pretty. On the light side, you just, as is. Add 5, which is really 10 halves, making it 17 halves. Divide x is greater than or equal to 17 fourths. On the dark side, they have cookies. We have 2x minus 5. What then? Less than or equal to negative 7 halves. Add 5, which is really 10 halves, so 3 halves. And divide. Oh. Who else does that? Just, you keep accidentally putting equals.
Oh, I do that all the time.
You just, like, it's habit, right? Okay, so we've got a two-part answer here. It's got to be less than 3/4, but greater than 17/4. Close circle, or equal to, more ink here, more ink there. And since it's going Splitsville, and or. Or. Okay. Next up, if y varies directly with x, y is negative 51 when x is 34, find x. So we'll set up negative 51 is to 34 as what? Well, the x is missing. 84 is to what? There we go. Words are hard. Y is to x as y is to x. Now, when you cross multiply and solve, you got a choice. You could just Jesus fish. Alpha, right? Alpha, Greek letter. I am the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end, right? Jesus fish. So I can multiply and then divide one shot in the calculator. You just do that for all I care. Or did any of you actually simplify it down as you were working and call that negative 51 34ths a negative 3 halves? Anyone do that? Oh, okay. So then I would say a third of 84 is 27, 28. By 2 is negative 56, right?
Yes.
So it's proportional reasoning, so distribution. I know it's, over. So technically 1/3. Since I know a third of 81, I just break it apart. We tried showing you guys that back in Algebra half and Algebra 1, but most kids just put it in their calculator and ignored it. But this is where you hear that like 2 or 3 kids go, facts. Okay, so did you set it up correctly? Did you get the correct answer? Did you get the correct thing before splitting? Did you split correctly? Did you solve correctly? Okay. I want to put more points on the process instead of the answer part, right? Because if you screw up the process, the answer is just all gone. So 2 for the work, 1 for the answer, even though the answer includes both the algebraic version and the graph. Get what I'm saying? Like, I want to put more emphasis on the process. Any questions on how I score this up? Okay. Yeah. Then homework. Okay, you've had 5 assignments from me now. Distraction free. Are we hitting that 15, 20-minute mark? If we're 30 plus on a regular basis without distraction, you need to tell me. Okay? Because if it's 1 or 2 of you who are at 30 minutes plus distraction free, then maybe something's not clicking right. Maybe I need to say something different. Maybe we need to move you away from the person you're sitting next to. Maybe we need to just come down and do a couple problems, like 2 or 3 problems in Spartan time, and then do it. Whatever the case. But if I see like 5, 6, 12 of you who are all 30 minutes plus, I know that I'm setting up the assignment wrong. I don't want it to be like that. Okay? So tell me. If it's a long assignment, you have to tell me so I don't do that again. All right. So speaking of the assignment, anything? Anything? From? 1.6 or 2.2?
It was, oh no, it was 1.6.
1.6? Okay. $64, they say. Next page. Okay. 1/11 of 2x minus 4. We always move the constant first, right? We don't have to. I could multiply this and this and this by 11 right now. I can do that. You just have to remember not to distribute it into here, because then you would have multiplied this and this by 11, effectively the whole thing by 121. That's why we usually move constants first, so we don't make that mistake. So I'll subtract 10. Then I'll multiply both sides by 11. Then we will do light side, dark side. Yeah, 1/11 of is divide by 11, or multiply by 1/11. Dividing by fraction is easy as pie. 2x minus 4 is less than or equal to 11, so add. Or, on the dark side, I head over here and get 2x minus 4. Don't forget to flip that inequality. Getting negative 7, x is greater than or equal to negative 7/2. Make sure you put this on the number line correctly. If I'm between, you know what? A nice note to have. I don't know if you just caught on to this. I don't know if it was ever explicitly in our notes. If I ever have absolute value of thing is less than a number, that's an and. That's a lower boundary is less than x is less than upper boundary. But if it's absolute value of the thing is going to be greater than a number, then you're going to have Splitsville number 2, number 3, whatever they are. And then you're going to have an x is less than thing, x is greater than thing, and you're going to jam an or in between them. Just by the format of it. That was one of our reasoning problems where we said, don't solve it, just look at it and tell me what it's going to look like. Well, they're asking you to reason this out. Okay. So in this case, since I have x is greater than this one, less than that one, since my original was less than or equal to, I know that we're going to be between negative 7 halves and 15 halves. Okay. Yeah, if you just graph it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, okay, with absolute value, they're always going to end up this way or that way. Every time. Where you might have the weirdos is, what if I had an and graph, but I ended up with like x is greater than 7 and x is greater than 2? No. And means what? Both. They both have to be true. So if one of them says this and the other says that, where are they both true? Where they overlap, right? So my answer is just x is greater than 7. So sometimes we get ones like that where you always don't just assume that it's going to be a certain way. Sketch them out first. Because what happened, okay, what if this exact same thing was or? Where is one or the other true?
Just 2.
Isn't one or the other true back here too? So now that's the answer because of the or. Where is one or the other true? That would be like, all right, teenagers. Dad says you can start dating with your 18. When you're 18, that's it. Mom says you can start dating when you're 14. You can make one or the other happy. Okay? Versus you have to make both of them happy. Aren't those two different answers? Okay? Let's be perfectly honest. No child in the history of child-parent relationships has ever split the middle to make both of them happy. You pick the one that makes you happy, and then you pit your parents against each other. Rude. Anything else from the homework? Ooh, 51? Okay. If I have 1/4 4x plus 7, 16. First, get rid of that 1/4. You notice that they put an 8x and a 16 there because they're both divisible by 4. They're trying to catch you in a trap. Don't divide them by 4, multiply them by 4. So they're trying to get you right out the gate. Is 32x plus 64. Then, light side, dark side. 4x plus 7 is 32x plus 64. Subtract 4x. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter, right? Here. Minus 28x. Subtract 7 is 57. Divide. Negative. That's 3. That's... Is it really that ugly? It just stays that? Okay. Normally what happens... normally what happens with these is... they make the problems in such a way that they'll come out decent. Like, with most of my tests, I actually go through and double check to make sure they come out at least reasonable. There's nothing wrong with having that, but most kids will kind of freak out a little bit if they see it, think that they did something wrong. What do I got to be careful about on the dark side? Negate the whole thing. Negative 32x minus 64. Now it's 36x is negative 71, which is so close to 2 it's painful, but nah. That's the I'm not touching you. Okay. All right. God, what is that? A 36th of. So that's like a sixth of a sixth. That's like 1.97.
Alright, no way. No.
Okay. That's close. That's real close.
Do you have to check those with one?
Okay. We talked about this the other day. I said that we're going to start getting into the realm of extraneous solutions. When I can have an extraneous solution is when I might have broken math, when I might have contradicted the laws of math. Number, any of the ones above that. 45. 45, I'm going to have absolute value equals number. As long as number isn't negative, we're good, no matter what. But on these ones, I got a variable over there, which means if I don't know what the variable is yet, there's a possibility that I just said the distance from 0 is a negative number. I might have broken math, so I need to check this one. And if I plug those in, that is almost 2, so that'll be just under 64. That'll still be positive. That is just over 2, so that'll be just a hair under 0. The green one isn't going to work if you check it. Because 56/28 is 2. So it's just a hair over 2. If I take 2 by 32, that's 64. So I'm just estimating here.
So you want to check for the extraneous solutions when there's a
If there's a variable on the other side. Yep. That's a good thing to have written for today, too. Okay, utters? All right. Where is thing? Here is a thing. Did I screw up? No, I didn't. Okay. So here's how this is. On side number 1, review. 6 problems. 6 problems covering the stuff that we did in the last 5 days. We are going to go through this right now. As soon as we're done going through this, I'm going to say, may the force be with you. You flip it over and do 6 that look just like them. Okay? That's it. We do this every 6th day of class. Open notes, open everything. What I do ask is when we get to quiz time, all of the devices go over on the counter. The phones, the smartwatches, all the stuff. No one's got Google Glass, okay? Don't do that, okay? No, the calculators I want you to use, okay? If you have wireless headphones, by all means, leave your phone over there, get your jams while you're going. If you normally listen to music out of your laptop, that's fine. I'm the same way. I cannot function without that music in the background. Just press play, close the lid. Okay? Need to grab a fidget to just keep your hand busy while you're thinking. Cool, fine. I want you to be relaxed and as much you fully supported as possible to do a quiz. Okay? They shouldn't be stressful. It should be, education is not supposed to be, gotcha. No, that's a power trip. I want to see what can you do when you are fully supported. That's education. Okay? So, I'm going to hand these out. We're going to do some review problems real quick together. When you are done with the quiz, you're going to put the quiz in the basket. You're going to put your homework, daily quiz, and notes for the last 6 days up there with it. I will go through them as soon as I am able to. You don't have any homework tonight, so if you don't need that binder or notebook, just leave it here. Pick it up tomorrow when we get started. The one that says review at the top? Everyone got one? Did I not give the front row one?
I got one.
Oh, I thought I gave you the pile. Everyone's got one? Okay. I don't think I turned this into a PDF. Hold on. There's a thing, Algebra 2, F21 assessment, review. Come on, Bobby Joe, let's go. File, save as, browse, a PDF. There we go. Whoop. Okay. In the beginning, we put letters and numbers together. Can you evaluate and follow the order of operations? Wouldn't we say you should do if you're about to evaluate things? Parentheses. Replace all of these with parentheses first. Then fill them in. All the x's are 3's. All the y's are -2's. This will prevent you, hopefully, from screwing up negatives and exponents, which there are both. Next, order of operations says, take care of your exponents first. So now that's 2 by 9 by -2 minus, do you see why we put that parenthesis on there? -2 squared is what? Is 36, and it is a negative. So -36 minus 4 over 1, -40. I want you to think back to the first lesson, how rusty some of us were like on day 1. Now we're just spitting out numbers. It just took a little while to get warmed up, stretch out. Okay, so maybe remember, this is inclusive of your notes. You use this on your quiz because it's on the back of your quiz. Is there anything about this problem, this type of problem, that you're about to do again, that maybe you should write on there and say, replace variables with parentheses first? Or just whatever, like red flag warnings to yourself. This is something I need to look out for. Go ahead and write it. It's still you doing it. I don't care. Then we did equations. Now, most of the solving regular one variable equations, I didn't put a specific problem about that because we use it often enough with inequalities. Instead, I wanted to focus on our literal equations. If I want V all by itself, who's got to go? Okay. So right now, this is no different than 5 is 2V minus 18. You're still solving it the same way. It's just uglier, right? I'm going to add the GT squared over here. and then divide by t. So I can either say v is h plus gt squared over t, or remember they're both over t, so I can say h over t plus gt squared over t. What could I do now? I could reduce the second fraction. So I could say v is h over t plus gt. That's it.
You can do purple.
They're both right. Purple or red, both are correct. Both are correct. I don't care. We need to know both because we're going to start working in a couple of weeks when we hit the end of chapter 4. We're going to start working with complex and compound numbers. Rational can be written as fraction, with irrational has to be written as a square root. We might also get real and imaginary components. So we need to know how to separate these things. Okay, part 3. Inequalities, solve and graph. What's first? Distribute. What's going on that right side?
Distribute the sign.
Okay, little invisible 1 right there, right? So it's minus x minus 5. Okay, combine like terms. Say 5x minus 39 less than or equal to negative x minus 3. Variables to one side, constants to the other. Specifically because it's an inequality, I probably want my variables on the left because that's how we say them. So I'm going to add x. I'm also going to add 39. 36. There we go. Divide and get x is less than or equal to 6. Remember? Huh? Oh, okay. It does say to solve and graph. Y'all, if you're one of those kids that always forgets to do a part, like you know how to do it, you just didn't follow all of the instructions, maybe you do this to remind yourself, hey, don't forget to graph. It doesn't have to be a big, complicated graph. Close circle, more ink here, more ink there at 6, and remember, if I got my variable on the left side, it's a little arrow telling me which way to shade. Good enough. Okay. Same thing over here, except these are compound inequalities. It might be an and written with the word and. It might be an and written as a compound inequality like this. It might be an or written separately. We talked about these are like a triple balance. Add 20 to all 3 portions. Divide all 3 portions by 3. No, yeah, 24, duh. And then if I'm going to graph it, it is a solid circle at 4 to a open circle at 24. See, they're written as a compound inequality because I could have done one of these. If I just ignored this part, would you agree that part should still be true? Okay. So if I take that out here, but then I also have that part, should still be true, right? Aren't I adding 20 dividing by 3? Adding 20 dividing by 3? So that's why these compound inequalities work like a triple balance, is because you're going to do the same thing anyway. Okay, down here, solve and graph. What do I got to look out for? Variable is on that side. Matthias, if you could please not wave your utensil in Callister's face. Okay. After school is one thing. In class is another. Split light side, dark side. I'll subtract 5W. I'll add 1. I'll divide. Before I even go to the dark side, check it. I don't even need to look at this half of it. Look over here. I'm about to say 5 times negative 38. Really big negative number plus 37. That's going to be negative, isn't it? I'm about to say the distance from 0 is negative. So I already know that this one is not going to work. Now actually check it, but sometimes you can use those little mental tricks to guesstimate your way through it. Then, for W minus 1 is equal to what? Negative 5W minus 37. Variables to the left, constants to the right. Divide. It's negative again, but check it. Does this one work?
Yes. It does.
So what's that, 15? Does it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wait, the second one.
Oh, wait, then you have to.
Watch your parentheses. It'll be a negative 16 minus 1 is a negative 17. Absolute value of 17 is 17. Okay? So yes, that one does work. All right. This is going to be big brain moment. How do I graph W is negative 4? You are here. That's it. Maybe a note next to 5 telling yourself, watch for extraneous solutions. Check your answers. And the inequalities, which is what we left off. I did not put the direct variation stuff on there because we had just done that yesterday, and that's going to lead more into our linear equations tomorrow. So we start with adding 7. Before I even split to light side, dark side, is this legal?
Yeah.
Okay. Now before, let's say that negative 7 wasn't there at all.
Well,
The distance is less than negative 5. Well, that's not possible, so I would just put a big fat old no on there and move on with my life. Okay, so sometimes you save yourself some work. Then 2x plus 2 is less than or equal to 2. Subtract. Y'all, there are so many kids who will get to x equals number, or in this case, x is less than or equal to number, and it's a 0, and they like panic and they say no solution. 0 is a number too. Stop hating. Okay? It's not that they didn't score any points. They scored 0 points. A little bit of shade at a certain sports group again. 2x plus 2 is greater than or equal to negative 2.
We did one
score
though,
though,
so.
We did score once.
Once.
This one.
Hey, we're tomorrow.
Y'all, sometimes, okay, I'll tell you, sometimes things can turn around. My sophomore year, our football team was 0-9. Like, we got crushed all the time. Senior year, 11-1, undefeated regular season, lost in the semifinals. Okay, we went from 0-9 to 9-0 in 2 years. It can turn around. All right. Granted, we got a new coach, but next up, is this an and or an or? Negative 2, greater than that, but also less than or equal to 0. So how do I write my answer? Write it as the and sandwich. Put less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 0. Okay? If x is literally between the numbers, then write your answer with x between the numbers. Make sure Pac-Man's always eating to the right because that's where the bigger numbers are on a number line. Okay? There you go. What do you need to do before we start? Go and put all your devices over there. Again, if you need to get your jams while you're working, I fully get it. Just make sure they're not so loud that it's bothering other people in the room.
Can we turn in our stuff? What if we have like our homework and all that with like other classes?
Your choice if you want to take that stuff out and just binder clip it, or if I know that it's, do you need it for this afternoon? Okay, then just take that stuff out and binder clip it together. I'll leave a little pile over here. So, when you are done, oh, also, we got a little room. Please try to separate yourselves if you can. Don't sit next to people you normally sit next to, that kind of business. Okay, just remove temptation. Open notes, open everything. Low stress. Once you're done, quiz goes in the basket. Make a pile right next to the basket of your binders or notebooks or folders, wherever your, what are the 3 things you're turning in? Homework, daily quizzes, packet of notes. And as soon as I'm able, I'm going to go through those. You do not need any of that because you have no assignment tonight. Once you're done, you're done. We start fresh tomorrow. That's it. We do this. 5 days, review quiz. 5 days, review quiz, all semester. That is Algebra 2. Okay? Also, because awkward silence is a real thing, I usually put on just like instrumental music in the background because it just creeps me out. And we're getting to the season of sneezing where you're going to have that kid in the back who's always going, okay? Need a little something.